Following the assassination of a suspect, Clarice and VICAP are under investigation. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve from VALHARTV, and today I'll be reviewing Clarice Episode 4, You Can't Rule Me. So we begin the episode with the autopsy of Welling, and we get, kind of a bloody scene, where we get to see the blood coming out as they're cutting him open and, prying open his chest. All that stuff. And it's kind of spliced in the very beginning as we're going along. We do cut to the VICAP team where Clarice and the team are getting interviewed by a man named Herman, as we will see later on. But VICAP is under the investigation for regulation infractions that result in the death of a witness at the headquarters. So we see that this is really a big deal, and it's really good because when we meet Herman, he's the lead investigator, and he's playing dual roles as good cop, bad cop. And with that, we see him go from talking to Clarice, like real nicely, wanting her on his team and offering her a deal, to screaming at Thomas for vetting all the cops that came in, including the cop that was fake. So we really get to see a good sense here as we go along. I think this was pretty good so far because I did like the way Herman was trying to play everybody against each other. And we get to see this when Herman calls Ardelia, into his office and offers her, the role to investigate the VICAP team, including Clarice. And Clarice and all them see that because that's what Herman wanted. So as we go through, she's trying to do her job because she sees an opportunity to advance. Which, anybody who's in any job, if they see the opportunity, they want to go for it. And, you can't blame them. But this puts a wedge in between Clarice and her relationship because they're roommates as well. And as the episode goes on, Clarice, Thomas, and Shane investigate the fake cop, which leads them to a Dr. Faulkner. So they're trying to find this Dr. Faulkner, and they're having a hard time finding her. So Clarice, as they're going on, she keeps trying to give information to Ardelia, and Ardelia calls her out for it and says, hey, listen, you're compromising me twice now. You can't do that. I'm doing this by the book because I want this opportunity to work, and you don't seem to care. And that really plays out in, this scene right here. And it's a good scene because you really see that Clarice doesn't take in anybody else's feelings, including her roommates. And she only is focusing on the dead women, the 3 dead women, and just trying to get the case finished, and it really plays out, and people, are really starting to call her out on that because she keeps, not taking into the account that she's part of a team. And that's, and that's fantastic for the simple fact that, we really see that she isn't really a team player, so to speak. And in this episode, it really plays out in that. So what I kind of thought this suffered from a little bit was Clarice's investigation. I feel suffers from the coincidences again. There's just too many coincidences that keep happening. One scene, there's a painting that's tilted while every other picture in the room is completely straight, neat. Everything's super neat in the whole house. And so they look at the one picture and, guess what? They find something. Or the fact that Shane and Clarice go to the newspaper trying to find the reporter who was working on the story with the whistleblowers, and he just Shane just happens to run into the right person who shows him a paper that has the doctor's name on it that they're trying to find. And, we do get a good scene, though, which I actually really liked, between Krendler and Clarice. Now, they start talking, and Clarice is trying to open up to him. And, he's like, hey, you don't have a therapist, that's your condition for continuing work. And she's like, oh, I got a whole bunch, don't worry about it. But, like, what you're kind of, what you did. And then he goes on to tell her that, hey, listen, I was being hard on you because of the fact that when you went and caught Bill before me, you did it alone and you endangered yourself. You could have been killed, or you could have put a lot of other agents, you could have gotten a lot of other agents killed looking for you because you went off alone. And so she's kind of like, oh, I got, the look on her face is like, oh, that's why he was being hard on me. She's like, oh, maybe he doesn't hate me, and you could tell Krendler doesn't hate her. He's trying to get her to learn how to be a team player, because that's what the FBI is. It's a team. You don't go in without a partner, just like in any other profession. You go in with somebody that you trust, that's got your back and you've got their back, but she doesn't want to play like that. She feels that she can just do it all and not worry about it. That's the impression I got. Other people might disagree, but like honestly, that's the real impression I kind of got from her, was like she wants to do things to prove that she can do them. And, that's well and good to a point. But I also understand Krendler's point to her, being like, hey, listen, don't go do things on your own because that puts everybody in danger. And we see that play out at the end of the episode, too. So the end of this episode throws us a twist, but you kind of see it coming. Just because of all the dialogue in here and just kind of the things that have been going on. Especially between like her and Ardelia, which, are in the background. Nobody else knows that she's trying to feed her information and compromise her, and even Clarice doesn't realize that's what she's doing, is compromising her friend. And the acting in this wasn't bad. I actually liked it. We get to see Clarice really have to work with the team, which I thought was kind of cool because they force her to. Not even force her to, but they're like, all right, well, we know what you're going to go do, so we're just going to tag along with you, and we're going to help you out. And she's like, oh, well, I don't work with a team, and they're like, nah, it's too bad, we're going to go with you. So, she's kind of has to work with these guys. And this episode, honestly, dives right into the FBI procedures and doing things by the book, which you really haven't seen, like, Clarice do a lot of in the other episodes. She's kind of winged it. And gotten lucky a few times. But this really emphasizes the doing things by the book, especially between, like when Clarice is trying to give the information to Ardelia, and Ardelia literally calls her out on, compromising her, being like, if you keep doing this, I'm going to go to Herman and tell him that you're compromising me by continuing an investigation while you're under an investigation. So you really get to see that play out. And we also see that Clarice is still doing things by herself, and she hasn't really learned to do things with a team. And this is potentially dangerous, for everybody. And that really plays out at the end of this episode. Honestly, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was good. I would give it at least a 7.5 out of 10. It did suffer, from too many coincidences, in my opinion, but it still played out pretty decently. So if you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and also subscribe, as I'll be doing more content each week. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Take care for now, everybody.